Hey, how are you?
Hey, Tim Moss, how are you?
I'm good. I'm wonderful. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk.
With Wendy, Stuart, and Tim Moss, and we're so happy to have you all here. And this is a really crazy Wednesday without me going into it.
All right. Yeah, this is about the craziest Wednesday yet, but I'm
It
sure
is
everybody, if they don't know, they'll find out soon. So
my goodness. We are certainly rolling into the new year, everybody. And Tim and I are very excited to be here today. Tim has a brand new project that is going to be launched. Okay, it's a digital play, and he will tell you more about it.
Well, it's a very dark political play. It's about it was actually written for an online production, so it was written to be performed online. And basically, what it is about is this dystopian future where the government will give out or sell these television sets for cheap, and everybody's starting to put them in their home. What they don't know is they're being watched.
Is that so far from what's going on now? Come on.
Right.
I am so sure. Alexa, you know what? I had to kill Alexa. I'm so sure. She was like, when I walked into the room and she said, Wendy, how are you? That was enough for me.
Oh, yeah.
The television thing, honestly, is not that far from the truth. And what kind of role do you play in it, Tim?
Well, we hit like Black Lives Matter, we hit Me Too movement, and we hit the LGBT. So I play a gay man, and at this point in this dystopian society, LGBT is illegal again.
Wow.
And so I think I'm at home by myself. I'm in drag. I call my boyfriend. I'm talking about having sex with him and all of this, and not knowing that I'm being watched this whole time. And they at the end of that scene, there's just a voice coming from the television that says, "America is watching you."
Oh.
And he freaks out, and we come back, and they do an immediate rapid trial and sentence him.
I can only imagine what that rapid trial and sentencing is like.
Yeah. So, but then when he comes back for an appeal a little bit later, things get really crazy.
Wow.
It was a really amazing role that I helped to write. Actually, I helped to write my character, so I've got a lot invested in it. It's really cool.
I'm sure, because you're writing from who you are, right? And your
and under those circumstances, yeah.
How can people see this?
Well, it's called Cease Quiet. Cease, CEASE.
Cease.
Quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a Facebook page, and just keep an eye out, because it will drop soon.
Okay, you will announce it all over your social media, I'm sure, right? For us?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
And
for
also,
those
just
you,
real quick, I'm also in the television show Theality TV,
right,
which is on Broadway on demand right now. So check that out as well.
Okay, and there's a link to that as well. We can even put these links up, make it really easy for people. And for those of you who stayed with me during pandemic cooking with my special guest, Alexis Flame, we had some great episodes. I'm about to launch all new episodes with Lady Clover Honey.
Oh,
we cook together. And speaking of Lady Clover Honey, she has her own cooking show.
Yeah.
Which is called Clover Culinary, and I happen to be a guest on her show. You know what? That's what we're all about, right?
And I was a guest on her show as well.
Yeah, Tim was a guest. You can see Tim's episode is up and running right now. So go to Clover Culinary on YouTube. And I guess, we've plugged everything. Get your takeout food from Pangea. They're still doing takeout. And you can eat outside. I did so on New Year's Eve. It was really lovely. I met a really great random group of people. I had some friends with me. We had a heat lamp. We were golden, and we had very delicious food.
Always at Pangea, it's going to be delicious food. That's
exactly right. So without further ado, today's guest.
I love this guy. He's so cool. He's so talented. Just amazing. And he's
so young too. He started performing, singing, songwriting at 9 years of age, everybody. And I mean, he's a pest doll.
And we're also patching him in all the way from Mexico City.
That's right, we're international today, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to introduce Ian Guerin, all the way from Mexico City. Hi, Ian.
Hey guys, how are you this
Good.
afternoon?
How are you doing, Ian?
I'm doing all great. I'm happy to be here on the show with you guys, listening to all that you were saying, which is wonderful.
We're excited, really excited to have you. And I mean, you know, we're the beauty of what we can do here, right? With live stream. Look at where you are and look at where we are, right? You're in a beautiful place with warm weather. We're in New York City where it's cold and our entire country's blowing up. But hey, don't let that get in the way, because we have a stellar interview planned with you today. So, Ian, I would like to talk about your newest recording, chapter 2, and how it was made, because I think it's very relevant to the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say, as Mariah would say, we're here and we're together and we're making it through the rain.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ian, are we ever?
So yeah, it's difficult times, of course, for everybody, you know. I think it's been challenging, but it's also been a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was what chapter 2 was. And it's I've always believed in great timing. I believe timing in life is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the phrase life happens for a reason, but I believe that we find out about those reasons sooner than later. And everything is a lesson. People that come into our lives, moments that happen to us, experiences, bitter, sweet, they are all lessons. And to me, chapter 2 was a lesson. I wrote this song at a time when I was not feeling how I say in the song that I was feeling. Like I was ready to love that person. Like I wasn't feeling like the broken child that was dealing with rejection and inferiority and all of those things. I was still dealing with that. But now listening to it at the time of its release and being at the emotional place that I'm at, I see now that I wrote back then what I needed to feel now.
Wow.
And that's like something that the spirit does, you know.
The spirit can be like a visionary. I know Hollywood Digest say you write from the heart or from the heartbreak, right?
Right. And that's when I do my best work, because I've been, you know, emotionally satisfied for the past 7 to 8 months, like feeling completely safe and great in my own skin for the very first time in my life. I'd never experienced full peace before. And this is something that I learned also, you know, while we were recording the video for chapter 2 and shooting it in lockdown during the worst moment in May. We were at my house and we started shooting it there. And one thing that I learned is people are always searching for happiness. Like it was the most important thing in life. Like, oh, I want to be completely happy. There's this like aim in life, like buy this TV, drive this car, get this girlfriend, get this job, have money, and you'll be happy at all times. And one thing that I learned is you need to be peaceful at all times, not happy at all times. Because peace is the one thing that if you have, everything else is expendable. Even health, you know. I was wishing my family, I did a Zoom with my family for New Year's, and I wished every member of my family peace, because I said it doesn't matter if you have health. If you're peaceful, you're going to be in your deathbed, but peacefully. You're going to be peaceful in your heart, and I'll be ready for that transcendence. You know, if you're peaceful, it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or little money. You'll be peaceful. It doesn't matter if you have a girlfriend. And I can go on with the examples. So for me, chapter 2 is that it is coming together with myself and coming to the sense that I do not need, like literally like the lyric says, I do not need anybody to tell me what to do or to tell me what to say, because I am at peace with myself. I don't think like I owe anybody but my mother, who gave me life, and God, who gives me strength all day long, you know. That those are the two entities that I owe to in life. So I am ready for this new chapter in my life. And that is what this song is about.
I so love all of this, Ian. I want you to share with people because, you know, I've heard people say, you know, the pandemic helped me find my spirituality, or it helped me concentrate more on myself. Tim, you and I have discussed that a lot.
Yeah.
But this concept of inner peace, like if there had to be an epiphany for you during the pandemic, what led you to hook onto inner peace as the ticket for you?
Well, I'd been searching for that emotional like balance for a lot of years. Ever since I was had a very bad episode with OCD like 6 years back. I remember thinking that was like the awakening. Everyone talks about having an awakening to become wiser, right? And that for me was that moment when I said to myself, you either get out of this alive but a better person, or you don't make it. And I made it and I became a better person, but I hadn't found that sense of peace and self-validation and self-worth. So during this pandemic, what happened is that we were in lockdown. So I was stuck in a townhouse before my sister came in from LA because she was stuck in LA. she I was in lockdown with another cousin who's actually in music too, and it was just the both of us. Everyone, we each had a wing of the house. Of course, we met like for dinner and stuff, you know. But we didn't have all the outside noises that we usually have. You know, all these people surrounding you and telling you how you should live your life, what you should do next to be better, who you should be dating to get with the program of the family, you know, which happens in my family a lot. And I know for all the viewers, it happens in your family. And Ron Russell once said this, and it made sense to me you know, and I always think of him when I think of this. You know, it happens to everybody a lot. Every family is trying to piece itself together in the way that some of the members believe. You know, you shouldn't be in show business. You're never going to make it. You know, everyone trying to define you and to try to tell you who you need to be successful. And to me, it's like telling your child who has an artistic vein, you should be a lawyer, you know, because lawyers make money. And I've always been one to think lawyers make money if they're good. Singers make money if they're good, right?
Right.
People in all branches and walks of life, they make it in life if they're good at it. It doesn't depend on what you're doing.
But a lot of times people, well, most of the time, people are trying to tell you what to do based upon their life experience. It has nothing to do with your life experience. Only you know what's best for you.
Right. And one thing that I going back to the question, one thing that I found that was basic, and I want to tell everybody in the audience, if they're not having this experience, go on a vacation and find that experience, because what helped me was that I could clear out all the noise. I could clear out all those voices that I was seeing on a constant basis. And you know what? And this, you know, it's hurtful to think because I don't want to be mean to anybody, but it's you know, a truth. And I've been doing just fine without all the people that I've stopped seeing. You know, I've met the most wonderful people through this little device here, like you guys. I've been in the most wonderful shows, have the most wonderful experiences, met the most loveliest of fans in the world. You know, I don't feel like I need that inner circle as big as I needed it before, or I thought that I needed it. I just need a few people. And, you know, just one last thing is that, you know, if you clear out all the noise, you can hear the inner voices, and those inner voices will tell you what you need, and you'll discover what your true needs are.
Know, and it's a matter, that all is a matter of quality, not quantity.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't have to be 6 months or a year. It can be just a few days, you know, without listening to those entities. And when you were saying, you know, people like to define you for who they are, I wanted to add that you'll never, ever find anybody in life who has made it that will try to discourage your dreams. Nobody. If they're trying to discourage you, then they didn't make it.
Well, Ian, I have to say, I am very impressed with your understanding and your evolution. You're very evolved for your age. And but kind of along the path that you were talking about, the inner peace, one thing I always say is happiness is a choice. You choose to be happy or not. It comes from within, just like with the inner peace.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people, so many people are always constantly, I need more money, I need more money, I need another car, I need this, I need the girlfriend, I need that. But I know a lot of people who have all of that and are still searching for happiness. They're still not happy. And then there's other people who are completely by themselves with a modest income that are perfectly happy.
Right.
So it really depends on the person and their perception of life.
Right.
So,
And I think,
again, I commend you. You're
really, Tim, your point, Ian, you really are very evolved for your age, because it took me, a long time to get to this point of getting that inner noise and that, family approval. My mother wanted me to work for the phone company. She didn't want me to go to college. She wanted me to have something safe and secure. I wanted to be a model and an actress. I had big dreams. And in my family, they would have preferred, right, to take the straight and narrow road. But all of us, we didn't fit so well growing up.
Right.
We're not the people that fit. And I spent my childhood trying to fit, hearing things like the whole world can't be wrong and you're right, only to come at this stage to realize they were wrong. And Ian is right. He said something. Successful people will never tell you to give up the dream. Exactly. They know what they went through. So you hit on a lot of spiritual things here and wise words for people to follow. But you got to let go of the noise.
Yeah. And now growing up, you also had a lot of challenges. Isn't that correct? You grew up in Mexico City, and again, you always didn't you feel as though you were an outsider growing up?
Oh, I still feel like I'm an outsider. The minute that I leave this room, there's someone reminding you that you're different. The thing is that I've learned that different is not related to wrong. Right. I remember I dated this girl once. I don't know if I dated her, but in my mind I did. So, and we met.
I love that.
We met through a friend, and the first time that I went to her, this was like 6 or 7 years back. And the first time I went to her school to see her, I remember I said, I'm going to ask her a trick question. And this was while I was going through OCD. So I was learning a lot in therapy. And I was like, I don't know why I did that. And if she's watching, I'm sorry for doing that. I don't like playing with people's self-esteem, especially if it's not that high. But at that moment, I was stupid. And I did that. And I said to her, you look different in person than how you look in pictures. And I knew that different doesn't mean wrong. But the answer that I expected was exactly the one she gave me, which was, what do you mean by different? Is different better or worse? And I was like, there you go. That's what I wanted to hear. And what I wanted to hear was that, because I wanted to know that everybody was dealing with those challenges. Just nobody was dealing like me with them, like me, like so loudly and publicly, And because I've always been like an open book, which my sister always says, remember, people are not always going to be happy for you. So don't share. And so that was one of my challenges. My biggest ones was trying to get people to acknowledge me within my inner circles. Again, family, friends, teachers, God bless my teachers from high school who did not get it. And I was going through the ideas of the show yesterday night while I was getting ready to go to bed. And I thought, I really want to say this in case some of my teachers watch this show. I thank them for acknowledging me being different. I don't think they understood it, but they tried. They didn't know what to do with it, but they tried to acknowledge it. Exactly. And for that, I'm grateful. They didn't get it. And I also thought, the girls I dated, they didn't get it either. I was like, why are they leaving me? Like, I'm giving my all, I'm giving my best, and here they are breaking my heart constantly. Yeah, well, they didn't get that I was, in my mind, and I thought about this last night, in my mind, even though we were 13 or 14 years old, in my mind, I was going to be with them forever. And, you know, regular people might think, oh, that's intense. You know, I myself would think that today, but I didn't think like that then. And I had this illusion, like, if I love you, that means forever. You know, I love you forever.
Right.
So, and they didn't get that. They just wanted like something expendable, you know, something regular. And I've never been one for regular. So when you're asked to be put in a box, you know, with regular stuff, you know, you immediately start hanging out with the weird people. Like my friends from high school are the weird ones, you know. One of my best friends was the one who ate a donut standing up the whole class, you know, because the teacher knew that if he sat down, he wouldn't pay attention. But if he roamed through the classroom eating donuts, he'd be fine, and he'd be listening.
I like him, and I like the teacher for allowing him to do that.
Yes, in that high school, I gotta commend them for that. They were really open-minded. I don't think a lot of them knew what to do with special talents or had a treatment. When, like me, we got rebel, and we didn't like. I remember laughing one day. Like a teacher told me, like, if I give you a second chance to bring me the homework tomorrow, could you do that? And I just started laughing, and it wasn't in bad blood. I just thought, you know, if I didn't bring it today, what makes you think that I'm going to bring it, you know, tomorrow? You know, so I never thought of myself as someone who could, you know, go to the office and sit in a box, you know, and be that kind of person. So for people to notice that and say you're not normal as a child, that is a problem. Because children with special talents and therefore special needs grow up thinking that there's something wrong with them when there's nothing wrong with them. They're just different than others, and they're not understood because those adults didn't go through that same thing. You know, I as an adult will never treat. I know talent when I see it, or specialness when I see it. And when I think a kid is special and they're being treated differently, I immediately go and tell their parents, like, you know what? Don't FUCK this kid up, you know, please don't do that. And some of them will look at me like, what do you have to say in this? What do you know? And I'm especially me being one that publicly says that, you know, doesn't think he wants to have children of his own, you know. You know, the planet, you know, we see the planet. What kind of planet are we going to bring these children into, right? But, well, people don't see it that way, but I do. And they come to, then they see me like I'm being invasive, and I probably am, but I'm coming from a loving place. So
you are coming from the heart.
And I think what it is that they have trouble seeing your soul. You vibrate you're at a different vibration, at a different frequency that they can't understand, and that's okay. You know, it is okay. You just keep vibrating at your own frequency, and eventually they'll catch up.
Right. Or not.
Right, sure, whether they do or not.
Right. Whatever. It won't matter that they don't. I'm sure Tim will agree with what I'm going to say next. You know, you're in the family now of performers, entertainers. We've all ended up here because this is where we need to be. You know, for me, it was a long time coming. I wasn't going to fit into all those other molds, but God bless us all. We're here, and what we can going forward. Ian, you said something really great. You know, if you see a kid that doesn't fit, but they have that inner quality and that talent, you do your best to support them. You know, you as a kid,
wonderful,
as many people as possible behind you. When you as a child thought, hey, I can be a star, right? I can sing. It would have been so great to have people that say, oh yeah, as opposed to people that say, you're not special.
Right. And I just read this in the Mariah Carey book. She said, like, I'd never understood why people saw a kid, a small 4-year-old girl in her case, you know, she says they saw this 4-year-old girl with a lot of magic and light. And instead of like uplifting her, what they try to do is kill her light and shut her down and put her in a box, you know, and make her feel like she had to be like everybody else, you know. And that's something that I'm not, I'm not saying that people are evil, though they are. Some of them,
Some are, exactly.
some of them are. Evil is out there and it does exist.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but in my case, it wasn't that. I just think it was ignorance. But my sister says
Mhm.
that, sometimes ignorance is worse than evil, because when you have an
Mhm.
evil person, they know the damage that they're causing and they don't care.
Right.
But when you have an ignorant person around you, they want the best for you, and they go ignorantly killing and shooting down your dreams,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
don't even notice, or they can shoot down whatever they come across, you
Yeah.
know. So I think that there was a lot of that around me, not in my like immediate family with my parents and my sister. Fortunately, my sister is in film. She's done my videos. My
Nice.
my
Yeah,
my
I saw
dad.
the last name was the same. I was going to ask you who that was.
Well,
Yes.
you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with Wendy, Stuart, and Tim Moss, and our very special guest today, Ian Guerin. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Ian Guerin. And his latest video is chapter 2. And why don't we take a couple minutes and we're going to take a quick look at that real quick. It'll just take me a second
That's
to
great.
get this shared. Ian Guerin, chapter 2.
Love it.
It's been years since the last time I went to the mall in between class. I remember it all perfectly, cause I tried to kiss you. Yeah, right, I was in a see me with you. Oh. But it suddenly ended, I went cold and you took some distance. My emotions just went up and down in a whirlwind. Anxiety, tears, broken dreams, and obsession. How I like you and see you, love hasn't changed, though. But the one thing that's in is ready for you. I've become the man you want. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do, to tell me what to say. I don't need nobody to make me feel secure, to put myself for you, baby. Baby, you started, 'cause you've been hard, I understand it. Been practicing about you, or what you started. He was a pain lover, was tempted to. I've tamed my demons best way I can. I work my head so that it won't founder. Back to the dark place, back to the scar, get constantly hounded. My rejection and impurity. I ask myself to remain calm. You're capable, you're wonderful, you like who you become. Don't blow it, don't blow it. She needs a man who's strong. I remind myself that I don't need nobody to tell me what to do, to tell me what to say. I don't need nobody to make me feel secure, to feel myself for you, baby. Baby, you got it. It's you been hurt, I understand it. Been practicing about you, or what you decided. He was a pain lover. We need to be afraid this time of year. I'm willing, I'm able. We don't really need to mess around with full jacks out of the table. The chance is like for us to ride. Grab a pen on my hand and share too. But for you, I'll take the chance. We don't need nobody to tell us what to do, to tell us how to live. We don't need nobody to fill us out for two.
Wow.
Oh, that's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me get, yes.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Firstly, let's talk Lupita Martinez, the ballet dancer that was in that video.
Gorgeous.
Fabulous.
Thank you. She is she's actually a friend of my sister's. She is the wife to my sister's boyfriend, who is a cinematographer. He has a best friend, and she is his newly wedded wife.
Oh,
And they were there with them when they came into quarantine. They locked everything down, and then they decided to quarantine together. And I don't know why I spoke like that, but, and um, and they came in, and she was perfect. She knew how to dance. She was willing to do it. She was there like for 6 hours when they shot that. We had to shoot at night, so it was like from 10 p.m. at night to 4 in the morning.
Wow.
She was dancing around, and he was there for her, and he'd give her water, and he'd clean her up, had a towel, and he'd clean her up, and that it was a very lovely experience. Just the five of us there at home and shooting it, and it turned out really great. And she's really a pro dancer. She doesn't do that.
Yeah, she's a professional
anymore.
ballet dancer. Yeah.
Yes. I think she's a contemporary dancer. I was corrected on that too the other day, because I was like, no, but she's a ballet dancer. And my sister said she's no, contemporary. And I was like, oh, okay. Credit where credit is due. And she's so beautiful, and she has this angel when she dances. She was like, as I said before, life gives you things in a manner that might not be understandable, because we wanted one of my cousins who was quarantining there. The situation at that townhouse is like, it's a big space with several houses, but they're all members of the family. So some of the other members of the family were there, and one of my cousins, who is a ballet dancer, was there, and she was supposed to be in the video, but then she came down with she had like a bad reaction to something. She's allergic, so she had a couple of allergies to dust and stuff, and she felt really bad, and she had to go back to the city to get treated for that. And so Lupita stepped in, and she couldn't have been better.
Amazing.
You couldn't have planned it any better. I have a question. What was involved with the choice to share those beautiful lyrics in the video so that people could see those words?
Nice.
Yes, like this album in particular, the Irreplaceable album, is very, very lyrical. As I call it, it's like my cleansing experience, because that was the album where I wasn't trying to fit any trend or be as catchy as possible and marketable. I was trying to get myself out, and when I mean that is I was trying to pour my heart into it so that I could flourish as a person, and hopefully make some other people feel good about themselves in the process. So with this album, we're trying to go with lyric videos so that people can get a sense of the music, but also of the words, and relate to that as well.
Yeah,
it's great.
Now this single is Chapter 2, and that's off of your this is your second album, which is Irreplaceable, correct?
Right.
And
right.
Your first album, Mad Sexy, you also had a lot of success with, and Bubblegum, I think, was one of the Bubblegum was one of the hits off of that. Is that correct?
Right. And I Heart was the other one, and I was thinking of Wendy Williams when you said Mad Sexy. I was like thinking, oh, what a mess of an album. I'm a Wendy watcher, so she's always saying like, oh, what a mess of a show. And I think like, what a mess of an album. I love that album. I've learned to love it throughout the years, but it just wasn't my style as much as Irreplaceable is, because I didn't want to be a pop star, and I didn't know it back then. So I started, I wanted to be Michael Jackson, but I ended up being like sort of a like a mix between Justin Bieber and Chris Brown and something in between with red tennis shoes. And to me, it was all very messy,
Yes.
because
Who were those some of your inspirations, or some of the people that you watched and studied and as you grew up?
no, definitely not. Michael, yes, not just
Yeah.
what I meant by
Mariah.
definitely not was Justin Bieber and Chris Brown. No, let's leave them out of that list. Definitely not. Not that I don't respect them, but they're more like my contemporaries. I grew up watching Mariah and Michael and Prince and
Oh,
Janet,
oh
and
wow.
also Tony Bennett and Diana Krall. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's such a range of
Yeah.
people, and really, what a mixed bag.
Yes, that's why I thought of Mad Sexy as an album that didn't really define me as an artist. I thought that it was like a good start, but it wasn't what I wanted to push to become what Irreplaceable, for example, has become, because I thought that I needed to put more of my influences there. And I'm growing up listening to all the piano runs from Ray Charles and Diana Krall, and Ella Fitzgerald, and then Aretha Franklin and all those people. I thought, like, this is too poppy for me. like, I wanted more.
But on Irreplaceable, I mean, you really expand. You've got a holiday song. You've got and like Cry is on there.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about those.
Well, the holiday song is apparently one of my best songs ever, as I learned this Christmas. It's his 4th birthday this year, because I released it in 2016 as a single,
Oh, okay.
and then I removed it to include it in the album, and like did a whole new version of it, and then re-released it in 2018 before the album came out, in Christmas of 2018. But it didn't get like all the attention that I thought it needed. And this year, for the very first time, it like got it. And everyone, I was like just scrolling through social media and found myself in so many stories, and people writing to me like, "This is your best song. How did we never know that it was there?" And it's cool because it's one of those songs that I did like feeling like, wow, it just turned out so well, even though it came out of like something, as I am, like weird experience where I was trying to tell people, hey, we've been through the love songs, the longing songs, and the reminiscing songs. We're gonna give you a song about hooking up with somebody just for this period of time. And people really embraced it, and I think that it's a warm song. It's a happy song. It makes everyone feel joyful, even though it's longing to a certain degree, for an experience. And it's just been wonderful how people from all corners of the world wrote to me. It's like it keeps on streaming. Christmas is over, and I keep getting new followers on my streaming services, like by the hundreds every day. Like just this morning, I woke up and I had another batch of 100 listeners on Spotify due to that song. And it's like Christmas is over and they're still streaming it. And one thing a friend told me once is that it's a song that sounds Christmassy, but it's not as Christmassy as others. So you can just play it like throughout the year. So maybe,
how cool
who knows?
Is that right?
Yes, definitely. Hopefully, like in less than 25 years, it'll be the new "I Want for Christmas Is You" or "As Big As." I don't like to say the new anything because there's one of one, But that's one of the most wonderful.
I have a wild card question for you, because my mind works that way. Of course, out of everything I read about you, this is what I pulled out. You wanted to be an FBI investigator,
right?
Or to be a singer.
I'm so glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. I never ever get asked that question, and I put that information there. Yeah. And ever since I was really little, I grew up, being taken care of by my father's mother, who my grandma on my father's side, because my mom was working all day. And And so she used to watch a lot of cop shows. Like her favorite thing to do in the afternoons was watching the Cold Case Files. So so she loved that show. So she taught me to love those kinds of shows. And now with all the Netflix stuff coming up, about murderers and stuff, I'd be like, if she was alive today, she'd be like so hooked on those Netflix shows because she couldn't get enough. She watched them all. And so I developed a sense of like an interest for investigating and drawing out conclusions, which coincidentally, as I'm telling you this, I related to, having this emotional like breakthrough constantly, because I analyze all the information that comes into my mind. So as a kid, I also did that, and those shows were to me like the inspiration, like get to the bottom of it, use your intuition to be able to deduct stuff. You don't always need to know the truth factually. You can just get to it on your own with drawing your own conclusions. So I started developing an interest, and I was like, that's so cool a job to have. Like, I never grew up wanting to be a firefighter or a police officer. You know what you play as kids, but I did want to be like, like I want to be like in forensics, and I wanted, to have all those pieces of the puzzle together.
Love
And
it.
I would have been really good at it. But then I learned that there was this person floating around the world called Michael Jackson, and everything ended up. I did not care for sports. I did not care for, I've seen all in name of my grandma who's watching from heaven. I've watched all the shows that Netflix has to give, and Discovery Investigation. I've watched them all, and I love them, and I still can draw up those conclusions. But ever since Michael Jackson appeared in my life, that just sort of ended. I used to be a goalkeeper as well, and then my cousin, the drummer, was very mad at me, back in like 2008, because we were in school, and we went to the same school, and we used to play soccer together. And then he said everything fell apart when you found out that Michael Jackson existed. You fell in love with him, and everything fell apart. And it did, but I would have been like a crazy forensic like person. I hope that I can, learn. I would love to be in one of those shows where they take you around in the cop car to see all the situation, at least to get a feel of it.
I love it.
A song in there too.
Right, Tim, there's a song in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your grandmother taught you how to be a very analytical person. That's wonderful. When you watch those shows, she's watching it with you. I guarantee it. She's there with you.
And one thing that I'd like to add about that is she was also the first person who played me something musical, because when I was like 6 or 5, she gave me like a DVD of Singing in the Rain, and she played it for me, and she said, you got to watch Gene Kelly do his thing. Don't go by the trash that your friends are listening. You got to watch the classics. And so the first time I saw someone performing was Gene Kelly on Singing in the Rain. And she actually did it because we had a Mother's Day show in school, like a talent show for Mother's Day. And we were going to do Singing in the Rain. So she said, you need to do the dance like Gene Kelly does it, not like your teacher from, grade school tells you it's done. Watch him and do it like him.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, that's a bigger difference, but well.
You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with Wendy, Stuart, and Tim Moss, and our wonderful, wonderful guest from Mexico City today, Mr. Ian Guerin.
Guerin.
Yes. Let me just put that back up so everybody knows how to spell your name. Now, Ian, how can people find out? Well, firstly, I just wanted to mention, too, that you're a 9-time Beat 100 award winner and an Academia Award winner.
Yes.
And your album, we saw the video of chapter 2 of your album Irreplaceable, which has received over 500,000 streams. That is those are getting some big numbers there. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how can people find out more about you and find out about your music, and where can they find you?
They can follow me on Instagram at I am Ian Guerin. And they can, also follow me on Facebook / I am Ian Guerin, or just type in Ian Guerin. My Twitter, which I don't use a lot, but I'm there also, I am Ian Guerin. And just all things Ian Guerin, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Google. If you Google me, I'll turn up, like for the first 10 pages. So, thank God I finally made that ranking, because there's a golf player who's also called Ian Guerin who was ranking better than me, but he's not anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I found out because I Googled myself, and then I found him, and I was like, ooh, like, I'm not a golf player. I used to like to swing, but because when I skipped school with my cousin, the drummer, we'd skip school and he'd call the school and pretend to be my father. And so he'd go pick me up and we'd go golfing to a golf range. And my parents are going to know that, but I don't care. I did well without school.
Well, but when you Google Ian Guerin, look for the singer-songwriter. That's our buddy here. Well,
yes, if they play the songs, they can check out the golfer after.
Yeah.
Right, as well. And it's what I love, your handles are I am Ian Guerin.
Yeah.
That is so strong, such a sense of self on that. Look where you are. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Well, we are very, very proud of you. You've got a wonderful and long-lasting future ahead of you. So you just keep being yourself, keep vibrating on your own frequency, and you just continue to grow and grow. We're so happy for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I had a wonderful time. And that's the one thing the only bad thing about TV shows is that they run out too fast.
I know.
I know, Ian, I feel the same way. I love doing this. I mean, how cool meeting you, all of us being here together.
Yeah.
I love exchanging the information. I love learning about other people and what their backstory is. It's really, we are all very blessed to be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we are.
Ian Guerin, from Tim Moss and
Wendy Stuart.
We thank you very much for joining us on If These Walls Could Talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you all next week.